All right, Gemini, welcome into your reading for the first half of September, where we're going to take a look at jobs and careers, love and relationships, and then life path and mission. So before we jump into that, I do have a new deck. If you've seen my daily card pulls, you'll see that I've used this maybe once or twice, but this is a deck about different crystals, and so decided for something different to do. We're going to see what crystal the divine or spirit is compelling you to work with during the first half of September. Citrine, Aqua Aura Quartz, and that's about confidence, self-esteem, and expansion. So I love that this expansion one came out because also with some of the different changes that are happening, like Jupiter goes into retrograde on September 4th. And so that's kind of a slower energy. There's fewer opportunities, but that is definitely that energy of growth and expansion. So I love that that came up as your crystal to work with for the first half of the month. So as well, in the first half, on the 14th, we have a new moon in Virgo, and that's usually new moon in Virgo is about starting new projects, new routines, things like that. But Mercury goes direct the very next day in Virgo. And so what that's going to do is it's going to give you that sense of like wanting to get things finished up. So focus on things that you can do quickly, like get some things checked off your to-do list. Maybe there were some different projects that had kind of stalled out or things that had stalled out that they've been sitting out there on your to-do list for a while. So go ahead and work on wrapping those up. Now, before we get into the jobs, love, life path, we're just going to pull a couple of cards here to see what energy overall is coming up for the first half of the month for you. And this is globally, then we'll dive into the more specifics. But this is for Geminis. We have our Knight of Crystals, so that's Knight of Pentacles. We have 10 of Wands in reverse, and then we have 8 of Cups. So your Knight of Pentacles there is, that's about like hard work and patience, and also about finding some efficiency. So it's kind of that, don't necessarily work harder, work smarter. Then with your 10 of Acorns, so like I said, that's the 10 of Wands in reverse. That is kind of a little bit of that stress and burnout. So I think this energy here of your Knight of Pentacles, that hard work and patience, it is kind of giving you a little bit of that sense of burnout. And then your 8 of Cups is going to be your like letting go and kind of a little bit of abandonment and searching. So I think you've been working really hard, and it's kind of giving you this sense of burnout. And so there's a little bit of that sense of abandoning some plans that you had put into place because it's a lot of work and it's burning you out. So some of it, we still do have a lot of planets in retrograde. And for example, like Saturn's in retrograde, and that's about how you attain your goals and where you're putting your energy. So that lines up here that, you've been putting in a lot of energy. It's giving you that sense of burnout. So you're kind of walking away from some projects that just aren't, or situations that just aren't serving you anymore. Whether it's that it's just too draining from a time perspective or energetically, or just doesn't feel like it's resonating with you. All right, let's see. Let's jump into jobs and careers for Gemini. What is happening? In the recent past, we have the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. You're currently sitting in judgment energy, with the next step being 2 of Pentacles. So your 7 of Pentacles in reverse is kind of like lacking effort and abandoning projects, which is consistent over here. So from a work perspective, that you were kind of getting burned out, and you've in the recent past been abandoning some of those ideas. And instead, that's pushing you into this sense of awakening or renewal, and this is judgment in favor of the divine. So a little bit of that like newness and rebirth. So some of it too is there's also this sense of, why am I doing what I'm doing. Um, let's look at doing things that are making me happy. Um, so from a job perspective, that one wasn't working. And sometimes when opportunities disappear, it's because the divine is intentionally taking them out of your field or out of your opportunity, because it's just not a fit for you anymore. So there is a little bit of a sense of that, like you've been spinning your wheels on things, and so you've kind of abandoned some of those projects, and now the divine might be either putting new opportunities in your field or taking some of them away. So if you've had kind of a scattered thought of, well, should I do this or this or this or this, I think some of those are going to be disappearing. You are going to be in that decision making, like weighing which direction you want to go and kind of juggling your priorities. And so it looks like there's going to be a decision coming up in terms of what direction do you want to go job wise. So certainly keep in mind whatever situation created this burnout for you, make sure you're learning that lesson and not repeating it just with a different company, for example. So that's something, and make sure that it's resonating, because like I said, sometimes the divine will take things out of your energetic field if it's not resonating with you. And Chiron is still in retrograde through the end of December, and that's about kind of healing your own identities and healing some of those wounds and stepping into your true authentic self. So we did have, remember, North Node moved into Aries in the middle of July, and that's all about standing in your own power, being unapologetically you, and being your true self, and also making sure that you're taking care of you and not just taking care of everybody else. So this is our love path here. In the recent past, you've had the Magician in reverse. Let me scoot some of these up here. You've had the Magician in reverse. You're currently sitting in the Three of Cups in reverse energy, with Ace of Cups as the next level or the kind of likely outcome coming through for you. So the Magician in reverse is, there's a little bit of that kind of lack of planning or wasted talents. Maybe you feel like you've been manipulated, where what you bring to the table hasn't been seen for what it is or appreciated. So that's kind of where you were in the recent past. And then you're currently sitting in a little bit of that sense of like loneliness or reclusiveness because you felt like you weren't being appreciated. So some of it, when we look up at this citrine card where we're talking about confidence and self-esteem, some of it's a matter of tapping into that sense of self-worth and self-love, of saying, you know what, I am this wonderful, amazing person. If somebody's not seeing it, it's not my fault. That's a reflection of where they are on their journey, that they're too busy to be able to see, like they're too much in their own head, they're too much in their own space to be able to see what I bring to the table. It's not a matter of, if I just tried harder, if I would have done it like this, if I would have said it like this, they would understand. Sometimes it's just a reflection of where that other person is on their journey, that they don't energetically or mentally have the bandwidth to be able to acknowledge things like that. So it's kind of that matter of, don't make everything a reflection of you. So, because the next level that's coming in is this Ace of Cups, which is about creativity and love and inspiration. So some of it is, as you can change, with your self-esteem and your expansion here, using that citrine, as you change the way you view yourself and view yourself in a relationship with somebody else, that's actually going to help draw in, your existing partner, or if you're not in a relationship, draw in somebody that's at the same vibrational level as you. But part of it is that transformation of getting yourself into a better headspace. Some of it's that Pluto retrograde energy. So Pluto's in retrograde until October 10th, but some of that's like a power struggle, and it's challenging your own toxic beliefs or behaviors. So if you're sitting here in this like feeling unappreciated and, oh, why doesn't the person recognize what I'm bringing to the table? The toxic part of that is you believing that you have somehow failed if they're not seeing your worth, as opposed to stepping back and acknowledging, they may be in a certain place on their journey where they just don't have the capacity to see it. So it's all about loving yourself and not making yourself small. Like, don't dim your light just because of other people. So, but you do have this beautiful like love and creativity and inspiration that's coming in. And that's not to say that that's a new relationship coming in. It can also, anytime we talk about like endings or beginnings on this relationship trail here, that's also a matter of the way you think about things. So it's different beliefs within your relationship. So it's not necessarily the ending of a relationship, the beginning of a new one, but I would say this is going to be a push for new inspiration and creativity within your relationship. For some of you, it could be a change in partners or, ending of a relationship, but definitely look at it as a new, fresh view on your current relationship, because Venus is in retrograde through September 3rd, and then it goes direct. And Venus in retrograde puts a lot of focus on relationships. It sometimes is kind of a make it or break it energy for relationships, but it definitely puts a lot of focus there. So once it goes direct, then the energy will slowly start returning for you. So if you're not already journaling, it would be a good idea to start and, see how your thoughts and perceptions and your, I guess, relationship to your relationship changes as some of these heavy energies change, because it really has been like crazy, heavy, strange energy lately with so many retrogrades, because it's Venus, Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Chiron, Mercury, Uranus, and then Jupiter moves into retrograde on the 4th. So lots of heavy energy there. But with your life path and mission, you've been, in the recent past, you've been sitting in kind of this like, call it almost like greedy or selfish type of energy with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Like, and when I say that, it's almost more like, okay, if these are my gifts, I'm not in a position where I'm wanting to share them. So the interesting thing, as a kind of take on this, I've noticed for me personally within the last couple of weeks, like the energy has been so heavy and things have just felt so dense and off that, even in terms of how I connect, whether it's, with some of the daily card pulls, there was a couple days in there, I think in the last 2 weeks where I didn't get to it because it was just, the energy was just crushing. And, so from that perspective, you can look at that as like I'll call it that, greedy or selfish energy of, I just need to pull it all back into me. I just don't have anything left to give. So it isn't necessarily malicious, but maybe you've been kind of holding on to your talents or what it is that you can share with people. And your current energy then with the Two of Wands in reverse, there's a little bit of indecision. And so sometimes like when you take a break from what you were doing, it kind of leads you to that point of, wait, is that really the path that I was supposed to be on? Is that really what I'm supposed to be doing? I kind of don't know. Maybe you're avoiding change. If this greedy energy, if this type of energy was making you question what your actual path was, then you're kind of in this phase of indecision. You're like, well, I don't know. But the next level of energy coming in is your 10 of Cups, which that is that harmony, that happiness. Everything's wonderful. There's the two of them and, oh, look at all of our blessings. And there's the family there. And, you can see the home in the background, so it is getting you to that place of bliss. You just need to kind of work through some of this, indecision. And some of that kind of goes with that expansion energy of how do you expand on where you are right now. And I think also as you're working on juggling on the career standpoint, and these two, I feel like life path and mission oftentimes goes with job and career. Like if you can marry the two together, that's going to be wonderful for you. Sometimes it's hard to to completely weave those two together, because sometimes what you're very passionate about, let's be honest, it may not be paying the bills. If you love painting, for example, maybe you're not in a position where painting is paying your bills, so you got to go, you know, work at a bank too. So you're kind of juggling the two of those, and how do you weave them together where you're still staying true to your life path and your mission, while at the same time having that security, being able to put food on the table, a roof over your head, and all of that. But as you're juggling these priorities, it looks like you're putting yourself in a position where you're still opened up to being able to spend enough of your time and energy focused on your life path and your mission that it leads you to happiness. So keep that in mind as you're deciding, if you're making some decisions about jobs, which one is going to better align you with your life mission and your life purpose, or which one is going to pull you further away. So as I said up here, sometimes the divine takes things out of your opportunity field because it's just not in alignment with who you are. Maybe it's who you were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but not who you are now. So our Gaia card. Jewel within a teardrop. Appreciation, spiritual and emotional reconnection. So with all of this heavy energy, you may have been kind of burying yourself in other activities, kind of hiding away from some of the spiritual part because it just feels so heavy. So with that reconnection, make sure you are reconnecting to the collective, if that's something that you usually were doing. And this jewel within a teardrop with appreciation, it's a matter of remembering to appreciate all of the little things. It's not just a matter of what giant, massive, mega blessings have come in for me lately. It's, going for a walk and you see a beautiful bird, flies across your path, lands on a bush out in front of you and then flies off. Appreciation for all of the little things. And even this, jewel within a teardrop, even if something happens that's sad, or you would describe it as bad or negative, look to see what is the beauty in it. Sometimes the beauty in it is just the timing of, if I'm going to have something that was bad that's going to happen to me, thank goodness it happened now so that I can adapt and change direction, as opposed to 5 years from now. All right. And this one, it's time to take action. New moon in Aries. So, and also kind of piggybacking on the whole North Node in Aries about being you, standing in your truth, being unapologetically you, and being bold and assertive. It's time to take action. So down here, you have this energy coming in, this happy, fulfilled, harmonious energy coming in, but you have to take action. So if you're sitting here with your Two of Wands in reverse, like that there is some indecision, you need to take action. So look at your situation and figure out, do some meditating, reflecting, go for walks in nature, figure out that direction and move forward. And even here with the job situation, where you're going to have a decision to make that decision. Doing nothing is still making a decision. So, go ahead, be bold, take that leap. Rather than talking yourself into, maybe I'll just wait and see how this plays out. Maybe I'll wait and see how this plays out. All right. They love you more than they're telling you. So here, when we had this, we were talking about like, feeling maybe unappreciated, if you're sitting there in that energy of, they really don't appreciate what I bring to the table and it's leaving me in this like lonely energy. They love you more than they're telling you. And like I said, it's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them and where they are on their life journey and on their life path. So if you can really think this, feel this, absorb this, it's going to push you into that Ace of Cups energy. It's going to push you into that loving energy as you're sitting there thinking about your relationship and how do you get things on track. Know that they love you more than they're telling you, and have some compassion for the fact that they're in a situation where maybe there's other circumstances where their journey is taking them, they're busy at work, they have too much on their mind, whatever. So lead with love when you have these conversations. And remember, Venus goes direct on the 3rd. So even if you felt like you needed to have a conversation, unless you absolutely need to have it today, I would say wait until that energy settles out a little bit more, because the energy will be slowly returning when Venus goes direct. And, Mercury is still in retrograde, and that affects your communication, technology, travel, timing. Like, everybody just kind of feels half a bubble off when Mercury's in retrograde. So it goes direct on the 15th. So depending on your situation, if there is a serious discussion that you feel that you want to have in relation to that, just be very intentional with how you're communicating, knowing that Mercury is in retrograde, so you're likely to experience miscommunication. So I hope today's reading has been helpful for you. If this is information you think somebody else could benefit from, I would welcome you to share it with them. I will have some additional videos, a twin flame video posting probably middle of next week. And some of those Is This Your Person videos, as well as the daily card pulls. So if you want to be alerted as to when those new videos are being released, hit the subscribe and notification. Otherwise, I wish you joy and peace along your journey, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.